few times in the Gospels we hear of Jesus and coins, particularly in regards to the temple. Later on, right before his passion and death, he will be struck with rage at the fact that the Pharisees and Herodians didn't learn from this instance. Leading up to his passion, he will overturn the money changers' tables, strike them with whips, and drive them from the temple. But why? The coin here. Whose image? Whose inscription? The census penny. The Roman coin minted starting with Augustus Caesar and continued on after him by many Caesars. To this day, they exist. They're a beautiful coin, deep struck. You can see very clearly the image of the reigning Caesar in profile, as well as their claim. And forgive my Latin, it's been a while since I looked it up. I'm trying to remember how to translate it, but I'm probably going to get the tense wrong. But the inscription was Deus Filius, Son of God. The Pharisees, the Herodians, tried to trap Jesus. They tried to set up a scenario that was lose-lose. If he said, "Don't pay the tax," they run to the Romans and say he's inciting rebellion. He's trying to stop them from paying you the money you demand. The Romans in turn would kill him. If he says, "Pay the tax," most of the very devout Jews will see him as a sympathizer, a traitor to the true line of David, a traitor to his people, and they will denounce him. So Jesus sets his own trap. A trap which the Herodians and the Pharisees, in their malice and in their hatred, were too blind to see. In knowing they were right, in so confident of their truth, they missed the trap. Jesus looks at them. To paraphrase, "I don't have the coin. Give me the coin." And they bring it to him. We can tell by the Gospels that he's in the Temple Mount. He's in the temple of God. And now his adversaries bring a human image, claiming to be the Son of God, into the temple. They bring a false idol into the house of God. In fact, one of the charges that will be laid against Jesus at his trial by the Jews will be that he claims to be the Son of God. In their malice, they broke some of the most sacred of Jewish laws. They themselves defiled the temple with an idol in trying to trap their enemy, in trying to prove their way to be the right way, in trying to denounce the one they hated. We live in a world that is increasingly polarized, where people forget our call to live as one people, where division and factions fester in the church, in politics, in the world. Earlier this week, we had a reading from St. Paul in his letter to the Galatians, where St. Paul puts factions and divisiveness among your fellow Christians on the same level of sin as idolatry, the same level of sin as blasphemy. We are called to unity. We are called to love our neighbor as ourselves. We are called to be Christ in the world, to work his works, to show his love. When we try to be too adamant, too stubborn, too entrapping of our enemy, when we try to show we are right and they are wrong, when we allow this factionalism, this divisiveness to fester, we ourselves often go blind. We can very easily, in trying to be right and trying to destroy the enemies of God as we see them, violate even the most important tenets of our faith. We are called to live a moral life. We are called to love. We are called to love God with all our heart, all our strength, all our soul. Yes, that means respecting God. As Christ tells the Pharisees and the Herodians, give to Caesar what is Caesar, but to God what is God's. Our first duty is to God. Our first love is to God, to his work, to his mission. That doesn't mean we aren't called to obey civil authority. That doesn't mean we aren't called to participate as best we can to see that governments of this world are just, kind, merciful, that they show the mercy of God and the love of God for all people. But we can't, in trying to do one thing, in trying to serve one master, blind ourselves to our call, first and foremost, to love God, to cherish him, and to keep his commandments.